guys, it's Marissa from littlehouse-living.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about a new kind of meal planning that I've been doing lately. And I've been doing it for a couple reasons. So I have a meal plan kind of that I follow a lot of the time. I've got a binder that I pick a lot of my recipes out, and then I plan that out for the week. Sometimes I go off theme days. Like I do a couple different things, and I've talked a lot about it on the blog. And then in like January and February of the year, I like to do this clean out thing where I go through my pantry and I pull out all the stuff that really needs to be used up, and then we try to eat off of that and just eat from the pantry and from the freezer and not buy stuff from the grocery store. But it is November right now, and we are finding that we have a lot of stuff in our pantry and in our freezer at the moment that I bought, and I had good intentions for it, and it's something we will eat, but it's just been sitting in there for a long time. So we're trying to use it up. So I'm doing a couple things with my meal planning right now, and I wanted to tell you about it because maybe it's something that could help you guys or just give you some inspiration. So what we're doing right now is I'm playing this game, and I just made this thing up because I was like, okay, I need to use this stuff from the pantry, but obviously if I'm not pulling it out myself during the day, there's a reason for that. Like, it's just not my go-to stuff. So what I have my husband do is in the morning when he gets up, he pulls 2 items out of either the pantry or the freezer, and they have to be things that I haven't purchased recently. Like, they've been sitting in there a while, and he knows what most of that stuff is. It's the stuff that you see every time you go into the pantry and you're like, why did I get this? What is this for? So anyway, he pulls out 2 things from there, and I have to use those things during the day. So it's kind of this game for me because it's like a challenge. I have to come up with what I'm going to do with those things throughout the day. But I don't like to be totally like left in the dark with what my meal planning is going to be for the week, even, you know, doing this little game thing. So what I did was come up with an outline for my meal plans for right now. So instead of actually coming up with like a full-on meal plan for the entire week, what I have is just kind of themes for each day, so that when he does pull stuff out of the freezer or the pantry for me, I can just kind of fit it into what we're already going to have anyway. So I was going to show you my outline and then show you a sample meal plan that I had come up with that we did a couple weeks ago using this, and just how I kind of figured things in with what we're doing right now. And then I have a blog post on this already, so I will link to that in the description below, and then I will link to this. I just made this in Google Spreadsheets or Google Drive, or I don't remember what it's called. Google Forms, that's what it's called. I just made this in there, and it's just a really simple spreadsheet that you can use and you can change to make it work for you. So I have each day of the week here, and then breakfast, lunch, and supper, and snacks. I usually don't plan snacks, but right now, since we're in the school year, and like I actually have some snacks planned for school, and like different things that we're trying and eating because we're studying ancient history. So I actually did put snacks on here just because I want to make sure that I incorporate some different things into the day and not just our normal, you know, fruit and crackers or whatever's in the pantry. Okay, so I do have snacks planned on here. So this is just my outline. So like, for example, on Monday it says that we're going to have some kind of eggs for breakfast. And that doesn't mean we're going to have fried eggs for breakfast. It can mean we're going to have anything for breakfast that has to do with eggs, but that eggs is the central theme for breakfast on Monday. And then Monday lunch is some kind of sandwich. Right now, since it's colder, we've been doing a lot of like grilled cheese type of sandwiches. So that tends to be what that means, but it can mean, like, I left it open for interpretation, so it can mean any kind of sandwich, which is really good because it means I can fit just about anything into the sandwich that my husband might pick out for me. And then for supper, Monday we do like a Mexican night, so either some kind of tacos or some kind of Mexican dish. Again, all open for interpretation. Like, this is just an outline, it's not specific recipes. And then snacks on Monday is muffins. And then, so I have that for each day of the week, and each day has different things that are like I said, just more of a guideline and not a specific recipe. I don't think there's any specific recipes on here. And then I also still have it planned to like our schedule for the week. So Wednesdays are always our town day, or our field trip day or whatever. So we're always gone that day. So Wednesday, we have some kind of eggs and bread for breakfast. So let's say that could mean, what did we have the other day? We had, I think I made scrambled eggs and pancakes or something like that. Actually, I have pancakes on here, so that's a different day. So like eggs and French toast, or the bread with the egg in the middle of it. My kids really like that. All right, so we have that on that day, and then I always know that lunch is packed, and then I try to put supper in the crock pot, or just have something that I can throw in the Instant Pot when I get home. So that's just kind of the general plan for that day. And it's kind of similar on Sunday. We tend to be gone a lot on Sundays, or gone for longer. So I pack lunch and then have something in the crock pot for supper, or just something a little nicer for supper. So yeah, so this is just an outline of the whole week, and that leaves me free to fit stuff in wherever I want to, with whatever my husband is going to pull out of the pantry or in the freezer. It makes it pretty easy, especially on days when I have like baked things. It makes it really easy to throw some kind of canned something into a recipe that my family won't even know it's there, and it gets eaten up. Occasionally he's pulled out some things that I really have no idea what to do with, and so they end up getting fed to the animals, which at least they're getting eaten. That's all that matters. Okay, so this is a sample of my meal plan that I made based off of this. Now, I don't usually make a meal plan when I'm using this schedule, because I just have to go day by day with what we have to use up. But this is a sample so that you can kind of get an idea of how this works for us. Okay, this was a week that we were gone on Monday. Let's do, okay, so on Wednesday, that's our day in town. So for breakfast, on my outline, it says eggs and bread. So we made egg sandwiches for breakfast, which consists of eggs and some kind of bread, and usually some kind of cheese, and sometimes sausage if I have some. Lunch was packed. And for us, packed lunch is like if I have leftover lunch meat, then we will make sandwiches. Otherwise, it can be jerky or fruit, or I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever my kids will eat in the car. And then supper that day, on my outline, I have Instant Pot or crock pot. So on that night, we had a honey garlic chicken in the Instant Pot. So that was something that I could easily just put in when we got home from being in town. And then I served a salad with that. And then obviously snacks were packed on that day. So that is just kind of how the outline worked for that day. I'll go over a different one also so you can get a better idea. I'm trying to block the sun. On Saturday we have oatmeal for breakfast, so that's what we had for breakfast that day. And oatmeal, I will almost always flavor it. We don't have plain oatmeal unless the kids really want to just have oatmeal with like maple syrup or something. Otherwise they'll put blueberries or some kind of fruit in it. So that's open to interpretation. I like to leave it that way because then I can just use whatever fruit I have in my pantry or in the fridge that day. So Saturday morning was oatmeal, and then Saturday lunchtime is leftovers. I found that that's really good for Saturday because we're like working on things around the house and I just really don't want to make a huge lunch. So we try to eat up our leftovers for the week on Saturday lunch. Supper. On the schedule for Saturday, I have a pasta or rice dish, which is really great because it leaves a ton of room for interpretation on my end. For supper on Saturday night, we ended up having just spaghetti with a meat sauce, which is really basic, but meat sauce is really nice because I can put all kinds of hidden veggies in there that need to be used up and nobody even knows. So I actually typically make my meat sauce either with butternut squash or pumpkin. It's really weird, but it tastes really good, and my kids eat it, so nobody complains and they get extra veggies. And then for snacks on Saturday, I have some kind of dip, and that Saturday that I made the schedule for, we had a corn tomato, corn, and black bean dip with chips, which was really nice because I remember being able to use up canned tomatoes, canned corn, and canned black beans to make that dip. So I used a whole bunch of stuff out of my pantry, which was awesome. So I don't remember on that day what my husband picked out for me to use, but that is what I ended up making. So yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, that is how the outline worked for that day. So you can see, like, I really like using this outline, and actually I might continue it longer than the pantry challenge, just because there's so many days where we have a day and I have something planned and I've gone great lengths to plan this whole day of meals or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. So at least like this leaves me the flexibility to be like, okay, well, I know what direction I'm headed in. Tonight we're going to make something with rice in it, but then it leaves me open to interpretation for, whatever meal we really feel like making, or whatever we really need to use up that day, which is actually, more efficient and less food waste anyway. So I hope this gives you a better idea of this little game that we're playing right now, and maybe gives you some inspiration of how you might be able to use up some things in your pantry and in your freezer. It's definitely helping us. We have gone through a lot of stuff in the freezer that really needed to be cleaned out, and we're working our way through the pantry. I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up with a bunch of random things that just must have got stuffed in the back. So we're working on it. And when I say eating up the pantry, I know I always get this, all these comments every time that I do a pantry challenge about, oh, well, that's my stockpile and I can't eat it up. That's not what I mean. This is just the stuff that is not, like, it's not your go-to. It's not getting used up, and it's not like your regular pantry storage. So like, we're not trying to eat up all of the rice that I have in the pantry, or we're not trying to eat up all of the canned tomatoes I have in the pantry. This is just to use up those little random things that I'm not finding a place for, that might end up going to waste if they expire or just sit in there too long. So that's what this plan is for. It's not to eat up everything we have in the pantry. It's not to use up my whole stockpile. Or do anything like that. It's just simply to use up those things that aren't getting used up. And for us, that means less money at the grocery store and less food waste, which is awesome because I really hate food waste, but sometimes it just happens. Things get lost in the back of your pantry, or they get super freezer burnt from being in your freezer for too long. So this is a really good way to combat that. Like I said, in January and February, I do a challenge for myself, and of course anyone else is welcome to join along on my blog or through my email newsletter with just challenging yourself to eat up those things in the pantry. In January, February, we get a little bit more aggressive with it, I guess, just because we know that summer is coming and more canning is coming soon, and so we do want to eat up a little bit more stuff and make room for the things that are going to go in there. So yeah, so if you want to follow along with that, be sure to head over to the blog and subscribe to my newsletter so that you can see when we're doing those challenges. I think the sun has fully come through my kitchen windows now, so I am going to go ahead and talk to you guys later. But I hope this gives you guys some inspiration and some new ideas on how to use up the foods that aren't getting used up in your pantry and freezer. And I will leave a link to my blog post all about this in the description box below, and then I will leave a link so where you can get this outline so that you can make it your own too. I'll talk to you guys later.